giving you the real from A to Z surrounding the Dallas Cowboys. News, updates, rumors, transactions, takes, and more. So strap up, Cowboys Nation, and start your day off with A to Z Sports. Live with Will Steele.
3, 2, 1.
Here we go!
Good morning, good people. Welcome to A to Z Sports Live. We are streaming live on YouTube. And of course, I am your host, Will Skywalker. Still, boom! Come on in, come on in. Today is Fan Friday. We got the mailbag popping off and a lot of conversation around the rushing game, around running, but it is taking a turn. We will talk all about it. But before all of that, we are joined by our insider, our brother from another, Patrick No-C Walker of DallasCowboys.com. And y'all know how we do on Friday, man. We don't waste any damn time. Let's get straight into it. Here we go. What's good, good brother?
Let me talk to you.
Yeah. Hey,
Yeah.
hey, somebody got some fire this morning. That's what I like to hear.
We up. We active. Let's
We
get
active,
to
baby.
it. Cook up.
Let's do it, man. Oh, you cooked up in the science lab. We're going to talk about that here in a second, y'all. Y'all make sure y'all stay tuned. We putting a pin in that thing. But hey, you good to go, man? How's your week? You ready for the weekend? We got some wrestling on Saturday. I'm excited.
Yeah, man. I'm ready to go. Hopefully the Cowboys do what they need to do on Sunday. But
Yeah, facts.
Saturday's gonna be fun, man. We got Crown Jewel for all our fellow wrestling fans and those who are already in on the And New Wrestling Game, the podcast, the YouTube channel. Make sure y'all check that out. So it's gonna be fun, man. Bloodline, Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, Gunther. We can go down the list. It's gonna cook.
It's a fire PLE. It's a fire PLE. But you started off saying hopefully the Cowboys can handle business over there in the A.
Yeah.
But it is looking real scary defensively with these injuries, man. I'm getting a bit concerned. Can you give us some updates on the injury report here, Pat, please?
Man, getting a bit concerned.
Well,
so
yeah, true.
that means that you weren't before now. I want to drink what you were drinking.
That's fair.
You had 2 cups of what like a double cup situation. All right. So first and foremost, the jury duty is concluded for Brandon Aubrey. He is back at practice with his regular regimen, and I put a piece out on the .com last night, as a matter of fact. Make sure y'all check that out. Brandon Aubrey gave fantastic insight on the process and how he didn't think he'd get selected. He revealed that his sister-in-law is a district attorney, and he thought it was a conflict of interest and just the whole thing, and how, not only was he kicking after practice, it turns out that he went to a local facility. I think it was a high school, if I remember correctly. He and Brian Anger, and their kicks and their practice went into the dark hours. So he was saying Brian Anger couldn't really find the ball to put the spot down, and he had a hard time kicking the ball from the spot, but he was still making the field goals kind of almost in the dark. And I'm like, man, dude, how good you got to be to make field goals in the dark? Man, come on. So Brandon Aubrey is back. For those that were curious, the Fort Worth case that he was working on, the guy was found guilty and 65-year sentence, which Brandon Aubrey's longest field goal is 65 yards. Just no coincidence. That's crazy.
So he's been found 65-year sentence? You sure that's not the Cowboys fan sentence right now?
I don't know, man. That feels like life without possibility of parole. But we in it together, though. So we might as well beat out in the yard and start hitting these weights. But to your point, defensively, it's still not looking good, man. Jerron Bland still has not practiced. So he was activated from injured reserve because the deadline was Wednesday to either activate him or keep him on season-ending injured reserve. Obviously, they weren't going to do the latter. because he will be good to go at some point, hopefully sooner than later. But as far as the Falcons are concerned, he's not trending toward playing for the Falcons. We'll see what that looks like today with Friday's practice and then Saturday's walkthrough. Same for Michael Parsons in that he wasn't ever on injured reserve, but he's trending toward missing his fourth game, which means technically he could have gone on injured reserve. But I mean, I'm not going to be naive and say, oh, well, you should have put him on injured reserve, because then the question was, what were they going to do with the roster spot? They're not signing anybody, man. Let's stop playing with ourselves. Let's see. So Micah and Deron Bland, neither of them are working in the right direction. I talked to Kalen Carson yesterday. Kalen Carson is a curious situation, because he was full participant. Yeah, full participant in every single practice last week. Now, I did talk to him for those that tuned into last week's Scientific Method, and I know you did because you tune in every week, right? I spoke with Kalen last week, and he said he was trying to get his final clearance for his range of motion, but nonetheless, he was full participant. So, it was kind of a game time decision. Okay, fine. This week, I spoke with him yesterday. He's been a full participant 2 days in a row again, but I spoke with him yesterday. He was in better spirits, and he said that he nearly has his entire range of motion back. So that tells me that Kalen Carson should, fingers crossed, be on the field against the Falcons. But, take that with a grain of salt as well, in the capacity of this is a rookie who's now missed several games, and he kind of had some struggles before he went down. So he will be trying to get rust off and everything, and you're going against the Falcons passing attack that just is not going to allow you to make mistakes. So not great, Bob. Not great, Bob.
You're burying the lead here, bro. Trayvon Diggs has missed back-to-back practices. That's why I'm nervous.
I did that on purpose. I knew
Make me feel good. I'm like, wait a minute now. Is Diggs playing?
Yeah. No, I did that on purpose. That was just me being petty. All right, look.
I got you. Hold on. I got to do this real quick. How you do it? Hey, man, you're burying the lead here, pal.
Stop playing with me, buddy.
If you're not, you gotta watch And New Wrestling. You gotta watch it. I'm just saying.
Yeah, no, man. He's in the pickle. Trayvon Diggs, the Cowboys. They're in a pickle. They're in a pickle. All right, inside joke.
Go ahead.
So Trayvon Diggs, he's not practiced Wednesday, nor has he practiced on Thursday. Spoke with him on yesterday, and he reiterated what he said in Wednesday's Q&A in front of the camera, which was it's a calf issue that he didn't know that he suffered in real time, so he doesn't even remember when it happened. He thinks that maybe on a tackle or whatever, he took a helmet to the calf, but he just didn't feel it in the moment. Went to bed, woke up the next day. Obviously, the adrenaline has worn off, and that's when your body starts telling you everything it needs to tell you. So he woke up with some calf soreness early this week, and so as it's being explained to me, they're resting it, but they're resting it with the hope that he's good to go against the Falcons. As we have this conversation, which is Friday morning before Friday practice, before Friday injury report, it's still trending toward Trayvon Diggs taking the field. So that's the positive. So as we have this conversation, again, the injury report will tell the full story. As we have this conversation, there is still a lot of optimism that Trayvon Diggs will take the field. But I also put that asterisk on that because assuming he does take the field, he's not 100%. And I just mentioned that this Falcons passing attack is not here for the games. So, you better come with it, be healthy. And if you're not healthy, then you might be up against it there. So, but if Trayvon Diggs, for whatever reason, can't go, now you're talking about likely no Deron Bland, potentially no Kalen Carson. Amani Oruwariye is on IR. He was put on IR on Wednesday as the corresponding move for Deron Bland. And a less than 100% Trayvon Diggs. Again, NGB, not great, Bob.
That's
I would love to have better information. Not better information because this is the best information, but I would rather have more positive information for you guys. But this is just where the Cowboys are right now, man. They're 3-4. They're struggling to get things together on the field as far as execution is concerned, and they're not being helped by the injury report whatsoever. They are being decimated. So, they're just kind of biding their time, trying to find a win to kind of give them some opportunity, give them an opportunity to stay alive in the NFC East for guys like Micah, Deron Bland, DeMarcus Lawrence to come back, Brandon Cooks on the offensive side. So they gotta figure out how to get this win in Atlanta. Bottom line, by any means necessary.
Point blank period. You got Patrick
Point
Wilson
blank
Walker
period.
of DallasCowboys.com joining us every week, normally, for our scientific method. And what I love about the scientific method is that it kind of coincides with your science lab on .com. And it's so crazy because I talked about how like the run game conversation is shifting. And I feel like media, whether it be quote unquote new media or .com media, is starting to get louder. The beat reporters is starting to get louder about Dak running. And my thumbnail today is run tell that, but I could have easily said run tell Dak. And if you guys know about Martin Lawrence's stand-up, then you'll get it. But that's really where this conversation has turned, and rightfully so. And in your science lab, you don't got to give it all away, but kind of tell us why you think that, he needs to kind of up his running ability.
Yeah, those that have followed me, especially on Twitter for, the past several years or any extended amount of time, I have been beating this freaking drum for a very long time. I was beating it pre-injury in 2020. I was beating it post-injury, and now it's the headline of the week.
Yeah.
But I've been here. So anybody who's just now tapping in, welcome to the party, I suppose, because no C has been wanting to see Dak Prescott become Mississippi State Dak ever since his days at Mississippi State. Like, he's not been that for Scott Linehan, Jason Garrett, Kellen Moore, and now he's not that for Brian Schottenheimer and Mike McCarthy. And what's disturbing is when you go check out this week's Science Lab on the .com, it's not even that he is consistent with how many times he's taking off and running as compared to last season, as compared to the season prior. This is the worst season on the ground for Dak Prescott. It is unnerving. Yeah, it is unnerving. You there?
Yeah, I said by far.
Okay. No, I had a call come in. I was making sure I didn't lose you. It is unnerving what these numbers look like. Dak Prescott is currently on track to have 35 fewer rushing yards and 1 fewer touchdown over the course of a 17-game regular season this year than he did in 2020 when he played only 5 games.
Jeez.
That is insane. He is on track for only 2 rushing touchdowns this year through 17 games. What are we doing? What are we talking about? And I don't want to hear the things about, well, he's not Lamar Jackson. I don't want him to be Lamar Jackson. Is Patrick Mahomes Lamar Jackson on the ground? No. Patrick Mahomes is an improviser, though. Be an improviser. Brock Purdy just put it in your face, Paul. He just put it in your face, right? Brock Purdy saw that his offense was struggling. They were down 10-6 at the half. And what did he do in the third quarter? He started tearing off runs, whether they were designed or they were scramble plays, and he saw green in front of him. He took off and he got third down conversions. Dak Prescott, speaking of conversions, guess how many first down conversions he has with his legs through the first 7 games of this season, Will?
Yeah, it can't be a lot. He's only scrambled 10 times. And those are probably quarterback sneaks.
Yes, 3.
Huh?
It's unacceptable. And he was asked the question. I was going to ask the question to him yesterday in front of the cameras, but I got beat to it by Ed Werder. So shouts out to Ed for asking the question. And shouts out to Dak for taking accountability with it. Werder asked Dak Prescott, what's going on with the run, with your, unwillingness to run and things like that. And we put the numbers in front of him. Clarence put the numbers in front of him and told him, you have fewer rushing yards than Joe Flacco right now. And all Dak could say is, it's bad. It's bad. It is. It is. And what's frustrating for me is that, and like I said in Science Lab, Jerry Jones is going to have his takes. He's going to have his takes. Okay, fine. But it's right there in print. I wildly disagree with Jerry Jones on this one. Wildly disagree. Because we're talking about risk mitigation. Okay, there's more risk for your quarterback standing in a pocket that continues to collapse rep after rep for the most part because the O-line has not been consistently good at pass pro. So that's why Dak is sacked, so many times this season, and he's on track to be sacked 44 times, second most since 2018, right? When you have that going on, lack of consistent protection, and your quarterback is not running, it's not taking off when the opportunity presents itself, and your wide receivers are not getting the separation. This is the perfect storm of stalled offense. These are some of the reasons the Cowboys are stalling, inclusive of penalties as well. But if you give me a Dak Prescott that says, I'm not going to stand back here in this pocket and potentially risk injury by getting hit by the blind side or a guy coming or rolling into my legs or being tackled into my legs, you're risking less by escaping that pocket, because that's a dangerous pocket right now. It's not a safe pocket. So there's less risk with him taking off, and then all he has to do is slide to protect himself, which is not what he did in 2020. So Jerry is kind of leaning on, well, in 2020 he was scrambling and he got injured and we lost him for the season. Right. Did he slide on that play? No. He tried to run through and stiff-arm the defender. He did not. So learn the lesson. And what you can do now is when you take off and scramble, now linebackers and defensive backs, they have to think in the moment. They have to wonder if I'm going to crash down to try to stop Dak from getting this extra yardage for this conversion or this, 6, 7, 8 yard run play, or am I going to stay sticky in coverage? Well, because he's not running well, they don't worry about his rollout. So when he rolls out to the left and to the right, they're like, he's not going past the line of scrimmage. I'm staying in coverage. Well, now you're not helping your receivers get that separation. So now you're throwing in the tight windows. You're making the hard throw, or you're throwing difficult throws, and now interceptions come. Everything ties to the next thing, ties to the next thing. So if you want your offense to start getting busy with it, you need Dak Prescott to take off and use his legs. You will then see better separation. You will then see, because guys got to crash down and respect Dak Prescott's legs as well. You will then see big chunk plays down the field, because safeties will now cheat forward when they see Dak Prescott about to come across the line of scrimmage. Throw it over their head to a Cooks or a Tolbert or a CeeDee Lamb, obviously. Your run game, now that becomes more effective, because when you do the read option, they know that you're not going to hand it off every time, because you're a threat to actually take it yourself and run it. This opens up so much, and I'm not saying I want Dak Prescott. Yeah, I'm going on the soapbox now because this pisses me off, and it has been for years now. I'm not saying I want Dak Prescott to run 10 times a game. That's not what I'm saying. Don't take my words and spin it all the way into hyperbole. What I'm saying is, if you give me Dak Prescott threatening to run 4 or 5 times a game, maybe 3 improvisations, 2 designed runs, or 3 designed runs and 2 improvisations, whatever the case may be. Dak Prescott's career record is 26-9 when he rushes at least 5 times.
I was just about to bring that
26-9. Yep. 26-9. When he rushes fewer than 5 times, it's 49-36. The numbers are right there in front of you. The science is right there. The Cowboys offense and Dak Prescott is a better quarterback when he uses his legs to keep defenses off balance, especially in seasons when he can't get consistent protection from his offensive line, or I should say, nor an effective running game. You now have to use what you have. It's Players Club, man. Use what you got to get what you want. Right? I'm going to hit you with the Ronnie Tricks line on this one. Use what you got to get what you want.
It's an element of his game that made him one of those quarterbacks that can help you win ball games, and they're taking it away, or he's taking whatever it is. But we're going to actually talk more about this probably for the next 30 minutes or so. So y'all stay tuned to this. Hey, Pat, I know you got to get going here. You got your podcast coming up. Appreciate you for coming through as always, brother, and enjoy your weekend, fam.
Yeah, man. Fun as always, man. Talk to y'all later.
Salute. Patrick No C Walker joining us first thing in the morning every Friday.
I'm dropping science.
Y'all know how we do. Scientific method. Let's stay right there. Take a quick break. Bring in all of that science Pat just dropped, and we're going to pick this conversation right back up, because there's a lot really to discuss on it based off what has happened this week on the air, what has happened this year. We got more numbers on the running situation. We're going to drop it all for you here in a second, but let's take a quick break.
You're listening to A to Z Sports.
Do it live!
At some point, hoping to broadcast
In front of the millions
of Cowboys fans to bring you the real. But for now, strap up and here's your host, Skywalker Steele.
I'm Luke Skywalker. I'm here to rescue you.
We'll do it live.
We'll do it live. Monday through Friday, baby. Shouts out to you, Bomb Squad. I didn't get a chance to. Bomb Squad. Good stuff as always from Pat. Put my volume up a little bit here. Make sure we good. You know, the conversation, me and Vosh Tuesday, we kind of joked around what Jerry said on Monday, but it's really not a laughing matter. But all I can do really is laugh through the pain. He was asked about Dak running. Not the first time this has happened, by the way. We'll talk about that in a second. And he had some things to say. Then the media pressed Dak about it as well, and Dak kind of not agreed, but just basically was saying the same things he was saying. Hey, you just gotta pick my spots or whatever, right? But let's go see what Jerry Jones had to say in case you missed this thing. Okay, this was Jerry Jones on, I believe, Monday, when asked about him taking off and running. He said, quote, "You don't want to see him really take off with that ball." Well, don't know why you're saying that. These quarterbacks that run, they're going to get injured, and that happens. It happens to the youngest. It happens to the best. It happened to Dak. To the end that we rely on him to stay healthy. That's an important part of it. I wouldn't say it's up there in red letters in the practice facility, don't run, but I would say that we want him to be smart about it. Are we sure it's not up there in red letters, though? I often bring up what happened back in 2020 after the injury. Make no mistake about it. Clearly, the injury has played a factor in how the top brass feel about this situation. But back in 2021, when Dak scrambled towards the end of the game and ran through a Falcons defender, for a touchdown, Stephen Jones went on the radio and was like, yeah, that was cool and all. And he said, quote, "We're so fortunate to have him, but I will say, I hope we don't see that much the rest of the year." That same year, Jerry was asked about Dak's running. This is back in 2021. He said, "Do you worry about him getting hurt running?" He said, "I worry about it. We got to realize that at the end of the year, what this is about is being standing." Warren Buffett one time said the hardest thing about accumulating wealth is to be there to spend it. Of course, he would compare it to money. Of course, Jerry would compare it to money. Suffice to say, right? The top brass do not want him to run. But using his legs is an element that this offense needs. And Pat just talked to you about a lot of it. We've mentioned it. Me and Aisha talked about it yesterday when we were talking about the read option. If he's not going to run with the ball, if they don't want him to run with the ball in that manner, then take that play completely out of the playbook. That's how I look at it. But I don't really, honestly, the read options to me is not really, I don't really care about that. Now, when it get down to the red zone, sure. What's more eye-opening to me is the fact that he's not scrambling as much. That's more eye-opening to me. I don't need him, and I know a lot of people bring up Lamar, and I don't need him to even be Jalen when it comes to that. These guys are legitimately going to have plays where they pull it and they run, and it's a part of their offense. That he's not that weapon anymore. Now you get down to the red zone goal line, sure, you can use that. It's less ground to cover, easier for him to score. He can use his power to then get into the end zone. But it's about scrambling. Like, I don't need you to get a 20-yard scramble. But can I get the 5-6 like Dak said? That's what I need you to get. That leads me to my underdog fantasy teaser this week. With all of this hoopla over running, I need y'all to run to Underdog Fantasy right now and smash the higher. I need you to smash the higher on Dak's rushing yards. 6.5. And you can adjust this. You can make it higher to win more money. You can make it lower and pick lower, but I wouldn't do that. Here's why I think you need to run over to Underdog Fantasy and smash the higher. In 2023, just last year, does this feel like deja vu to y'all? Because it should be. The media pressed him about running before the bye week. Or actually, it was during the bye week. Dak Prescott had a total of 7 scrambles in 6 games before the bye week. And it all came to a head against the 49ers when they were like, hey, man, you wasn't running. What's going on? They pressed him about it. He said, yeah, we're going to make sure that we include this, 2.3, play above the 2. That's when we first start hearing about above the 2.3. And what happens coming out the bye week? The next 2 games, he had 8 total scrambles and 21 the rest of the way. 7 in 6 games, 8. in the next 2. Guess how many times he scrambled this year? 4 times. That's it. That's all. Now he's being pressed about it. I'm telling you right now, he's getting more than 6.5 rushing yards. 100%. Book it. Head on over to Underdog Fantasy right now. Join the millions and millions of fans who have made game days more entertaining by playing along on Underdog Fantasy Sports. Sign up with the promo code ATOZ Dallas, and you can get a deposit match up to $1,000. And you don't got to go far, man. We'll have the link in the description if you can't figure it out for you to easily sign up. That's Underdog Fantasy Sports. Watch them, pick them, win them. Yeah, man. I don't need Dak to be the Lamar of the league, to be the Jalen, to be. I just need you to scramble a little bit more. Right? And I get it. He's not the guy he once was as an athlete, but he still can move. Like you know what I'm saying? He still can do that. What I feel like he's struggling with is, do I wait for a guy to break open? Oh, snap. And my left tackle, right tackle breaking down. And then do I run? I think he needs to commit to running sooner in the play than later. And just look, if somebody breaks open while you're running, then so be it. But if he commits to it a little bit earlier, he probably gets some of those 5-6 yards that he's talking about. But, you know, he's trying to wait for guys to break open and make a play downfield. You ain't got the guys breaking open to do that. I don't think you even have, the scramble drill. You know how they have like a play within the play. Okay, this breaks down. This guy's coming back or this guy's breaking out. We saw that happen, I think, with Schultz years ago. They had that chemistry. Tolbert is starting to build that with him. I don't want to keep getting on CD. I'm just gonna leave that alone. I just promise y'all, go watch. If a play breaks down and CD is just like, I'm done, But you'll see Tolbert do it. Ferg, I haven't seen it much with Ferg. You saw Schultz back in the day. There just isn't that same chemistry. Brandon Cooks had a few plays like that last year, but there's not that play breakdown, second play chemistry like it used to be last year and previous years. So while he's trying to wait, just take off, man. Get what you can get, and let's see if we can get a 2nd and 4, 3rd and 1, or maybe you scramble for the first down. Who knows? We're not done yet with this conversation. It's time now for our most electrifying segment of the morning show, the mailbag, ladies and gentlemen.
Shock the system.
It's time! It's time. It is time for the most electrifying move!
All right, scumbag, pay attention. It's time for mail call.
You've got mail.
Oh, we'll get to that question a little bit later. Shouts out to Aaron. You got to be like our mailbag question king, man. Shouts out to you, bro. You always drop some fire questions for us to talk about. Let's stay there, man. Aaron on Twitter said, do you think Dak is not running because he knows what this year is? And maybe there's an understanding from him and top brass to just get through the year? Well, first, let me say this. If my quarterback is just trying to get through the year, I don't want that guy on my team. I don't believe he's just out there coasting. That's not really in his DNA. That would bug the hell out of me. And it sets a terrible precedent too, right? Like, if I see that my Q, my leader of the team, is just like, hey, y'all, let's just make sure we're healthy and we don't play hard and we're just gonna coast, then everybody's gonna play like that. And it's gonna make your life more difficult on game day. Not just running wise, right? Because that can have a trickle-down effect. If you slack off from one thing, what's to stop you from saying, all right, man, I'm kind of getting by with this. Let me cheat a little bit here. Let me cut this corner there and slack off from another. So I don't think this is him just trying to get through the year. Now, I can't speak for the top brass. They're strange and weird in that sense. But we know they don't want him to run. And I don't think it's just a get through the year for the top brass, because I just talked about how if you go look at what Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones said 3 years ago, they talked about not wanting him to run. Hey, we don't want to see this again. You are admitting that you want to nerf your quarterback. I get it. He's not. I know Pat wants to see Mississippi State Dak. He ain't getting that. Forget that. You're going to be waiting for a long time, but you don't need that. I always compared him to like Steve McNair when he came out. Steve McNair wasn't a guy it wasn't Michael Vick, right? He wasn't Randall Cunningham. He wasn't that type of runner, more of a bigger, powerful guy that had that sneaky athleticism that I get you. And as his career went on and got older, he wasn't the same runner, but he would still scramble some. Now you can go look at his numbers, and obviously the rushes dwindled because he never was that type of athlete to begin with. And as you get older, that dwindles. Add on top, you got the whole ankle thing. He's not that type of athlete. Talking about Dak, that's where those two kind of guys are comparable to me. But you still can scramble. You still can move around. I think he has to kind of block out the noise that there is clearly noise, right? There's clearly noise coming from Jerry that he doesn't want to run. He has to block that out. Just play your game, man. Play your game. Get what we got you here. Dance with the, what is it? Dance with the one you brought to the prom. Is that the saying? You know, I'm not good with those type of sayings. Because what you going to do, Jerry? You're going to fire me? No. So do what you got to do. They need you to use your legs. This offense is horrific. Schematically, it doesn't have the pieces around. The line is bad. If you're not going to use your legs, you're just making things worse. You're compounding the situation. And we already talked about you can't compound the situation. You can't do it with turnovers. You can't do it by not using your legs. So smash that over, I'm telling you. Question number 2. This comes from Damien, staying on the Dak train. Has Dak become such a company man that he go down running this ridiculous scheme when I feel he has the power to change routes if he sees it? Or is it just he isn't seeing it? I feel like he's a better QB than what we've seen thus far. I think we all can agree with that. 100% is better than this. But this is, let's compartmentalize this thing here. Is he a company man? I actually think he is just going to toe the line for the Cowboys. That's just keeping it to me. But is he a company man enough to go down with running the scheme? Well, brother, he can't change the scheme, right? Like that, his job isn't to create a scheme. His job is to run with the coaches implement. So he can't change it. That's just not going to happen. We're in week 8 of the season, and even if he wasn't in week 8 of the season, quarterbacks don't change the scheme. So you can't ask him to do that. Also, you said, does he have the power to change routes when he sees it? Yeah, of course. They have multiple plays when you get to the line of scrimmage, right? Any audibles. We see that often from Dak Prescott. But we're talking about changing plays out of McCarthy's playbook. We're not talking about changing plays out of Andy Reid's playbook, out of Matt LaFleur's playbook, out of Ben Johnson's playbook. We're talking about this playbook. I feel like Madden has kind of ruined our thought process, man. This isn't go to the line of scrimmage, hold down controller right, press X to left toggle to do a slant. Like that's not how this works, right? Like you cannot do that every single play you get up there and expect to beat good teams, good coach teams, talented teams week in, week out. Sure, you might be able to get by a bad squad. But every single time, that's what our game, that's what our offense is. Hey, Q, go to line of scrimmage, play chess every single time. It's a recipe for disaster against those type of teams. You need to have some semblance of a foundation to lean on. You just do. And if your foundation is get to the line of scrimmage and change the play because your scheme sucks, well, you're changing it to a play within the scheme. All right, don't change the play to a play within the scheme. Go up there and draw plays in the sand at the line of scrimmage with the clock running down, a suspect O-line, not great weapons, and make it happen every time. This ain't Madden, bruh. It's not his job to change the scheme. It's the coach's job to make sure the scheme works. If it doesn't, you have to make changes to that. So, yeah, is he a company man? He's going to go out there and say the right things. He's not going to throw anybody under the bus. Yes, but he can't do anything about going down with the scheme. For instance, Aaron Rodgers in 2018 it was a play that I guess came in and from Mike McCarthy, and he looks over to the sideline and he goes, "Stupid effing call." This is to Mike McCarthy. This is what I want to see more, Dak, but it ain't gonna happen. Stupid effing call. If Aaron Rodgers, who I believe won an MVP at that time, a Super Bowl champion, was one of the greatest quarterbacks, if Aaron Rodgers can't change the scheme mid-season, what makes you think Dak Prescott's going to be able to just change the scheme? What it took for Aaron Rodgers to kind of get back on track as one of them ones was firing Mike McCarthy and bringing in one of these newer, modern offensive coordinators. And what do we see now? Matt LaFleur, who came in, didn't do anything complicated. Add some little razzle-dazzle with motion, but it helped. And A-Rod came out and said, yeah, I'm getting used to the motions, not what I, was used to for 13 years under McCarthy, but it has helped me, and clearly he won back-to-back MVPs. Now, LaFleur tried to add more to it, and A-Rod was like, man, I'm A-Rod. I don't need all that. Let me just get to the line. And they fell out. And what happens? Jordan Love steps in, and they add more things to it. And now, I don't know if you guys noticed, but go watch the Packers offense, man. It's one of the funnest offenses to watch. And they're not doing anything overly complicated. But they have a younger head coach, modern head coach, who is tailoring his offense to the things that work in today's game. And I'll leave it at this here. Did y'all see Mike McCarthy's quote the other day? Mike McCarthy came out. Let me make sure I get this thing right. I want to find this quote. Mike McCarthy came out. They asked him about, Dak in the quarterback position. And he was like, the offense is designed to make the quarterback's life easier or look good or whatever, right? He said, that's the way I learned it 30 plus years ago. I'll repeat this one more time in case y'all didn't know or I didn't hear. Mike McCarthy was asked about Dak in the quarterback position and the offense, and he said, the offense is designed to make the quarterback look good. That's the way I learned it 30 plus years ago. It's 2024. Somebody. I'm sorry, this is terrible radio, but just me saying it just pissed myself off. We doing a 30-plus-year-old offense with no tweaks. And when we do run the tweaks, what happens? Los, say something before I get upset. Los, go ahead, bro.
Oh, well, it's all about the fundamentals of football. We got to get back in the practice scheme and, get back in our playbook. And, it's all about the X's and O's. And,
crazy, man.
Yeah, and, we'll get back out there. It's football,
Yeah, it's football.
So, that's that, man. There ain't nothing much change. It's football. I mean, what do you want me to say, Scott?
Hold on.
What do you want me to say?
Hey, you right. I bet you that's something he would say too. Ain't much change. It's just football. Oh, Lord, you ain't watching football then, sir.
Oh, man, I'm telling you, Sky, this I don't even know. I don't even want to talk about coaching because last thing Cowboys have done ever in their life is choose the right coach. But I'm just going to stick to this game, man. And I'm just going to stick to this point. If Cowboys have a shot in beating the Falcons, Mike McCarthy better find a way to get in that damn end zone. Because
lock him in a goddamn closet somewhere.
Yeah, man. Shoot. Hey, if we do not score 7, Sky, on Sundays, and we're just getting threes from
Brandon
we get
run out the damn building if that's the case.
Yeah, it's going to be a long-ass day. So that's all I ask, Sky. Cowboys have to find ways to get in there. I mean, I don't care if you got to shoot. And that's one thing I wish Dak can be is a little bit more fuck you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm going to do my own shit.
You've been watching this show for how many years? How many times have I said, I wish he had some effort in his system, man? Exactly. I think one of his biggest flaws is that is one of his greatest strengths. He's so coachable, but he's too coachable, in my opinion.
Exactly, Sky. And that's it, Sky. I mean, I wish Dak had that in him, a little bit more Tom Brady, a little Aaron Rodgers ego to him, but that's not his game. I mean, he's a solid quarterback. He runs the scheme you scheme up. Hell, I'm pretty sure if you put him in the Green Bay system, he can do wonders over there. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is. We're stuck with this lame-ass 30-year-old system, and we'll see where we go from there. But I just want this game to be competitive because one thing, Sky, is how you tell me or how you come in every week is how we can talk about what can we do, how can we beat this team, what's their weaknesses, and we go out there and don't do shit about it. And that's all, Sky. There's just got to come a week where we just come together as a team and do the right thing. Right. That's all I got, Sky. You have a great morning.
You too, man. Have a good weekend, Los. Appreciate you. Yo, he said, that's the way I learned it 30 plus years ago. So everything we do is built into that. We're so cooked. How you bring this man back, man? Y'all already know I went on my I don't want to call it conspiracy theory. I just think it's the actual facts of the matter about McCarthy and Shoddy. I ain't gonna do that again. If you missed yesterday's show, go through it. But all that other stuff you see, the more modern-ish stuff you see, I think that's Schottenheimer. But I don't think he has enough juice to tell Mike to sit down with this old ass stuff. That's Schottenheimer. I don't like to give my man credit a lot talking about Dan, but I have to when call a spade a spade. Dan Orlowski, once again, when he's not being an asshole, he's really good at what he does. And he broke down yesterday on NFL Live. He broke down the Packers and Matt LaFleur's easy buttons, really, and how he was getting creating numbers advantage with at snap motion with, bunch formation, stack formations, creating advantages, and he followed it up. I mean, he showed some great play. That's the one show I do fool with, NFL Live. A couple matchup too. He showed these plays, and at the end of it, he said, and the beautiful thing about this is it's not complicated. He said it's not complicated for the quarterback, it's not complicated for the auxiliary pieces, etc. And that's what a lot of us have been saying for years. Like, the things you are seeing in modern offenses, it's not like these are overly complicated things. And that was the past game. You want to go look at some run game stuff, I can retweet it. I bookmarked it because I want to take some of these plays just for my learning purposes. There was a tweet that went out. Shouts out to Coach Dan Casey talking about Matt LaFleur. He said Matt LaFleur put on a run game masterclass so far. So Matt LaFleur is in his bag this year. In his bag. That's why Malik Willis is able to step in, to that offense and look efficient. But I don't want to keep beating a dead horse here, man. I don't want to keep beating a dead horse. I'll conclude it with this. Scheme's not going to change. Coaching's not going to change. You're not going to get better in that. So what we can't have from Dak is compounding the situation by A, making boneheaded interceptions and turnovers, and B, not using your legs. Just don't do those two things, and we'll just see what we can do. Is that enough? Probably not. But you can't compound the situation. That's my biggest gripe this year with him, is that you're compounding an already terrible situation. Anybody that doesn't look at the outlook of the offense and realize from bat it's already awful, then you're just blind and you just hate the guy. But he also can't do those things and make it worse. That's just the fact of the matter. All right, back to it. Quick break from the Dak talk. Smoke them if you got them. I like that one. Here on YouTube said, when we look at our upcoming top 10 pick, will we go wide receiver or defensive back? Hey, smoke them if you got them. I'm here to tell you right now. We can go wide receiver. We can go DB. We can go O-line. We can go running back. We can go, running back. We can go corner. We can go safety. We got a lot of positions the Cowboys can go, my good friend. I don't think we're narrowing this thing down to 2 positions. I don't think we're narrowing this thing down to 2 positions. Squad, is this where we're at? Wide receiver or DB? I mean, look, I got a couple more games and I might have to start looking at this damn draft. But boy, that's pretty bold to smoke them if you got them to say, hey man, where we at? Wide receiver, DB? I don't know, bro. I feel like we about 4, 5, 6 positions deep. We can go here if they get a top 10. Usually, I don't know if it'll be top 10, but it could be floating around there. Last question comes from Kahuna World on YouTube. Shouts out to the YouTube questions. He says, who are some teams that could be moving on from their head coach this year that could possibly be the leading candidate for the Cowboys next year, or could possibly be leading the Cowboys next year? Kahuna World, who are some teams that could be moving on from their head coach this year that could possibly leading the Cowboys next year? Yeah, you messed me up with that. They'll be. That actually leads me into our Dave's hot chicken hot take of the week. Usually I would ask you guys about a hot take, but I saw this question and it got me thinking, because there's some layers to this. What I'm about to say, it's going to sound a little crazy. I get it. But let me preface this. Who Sky wants as his head coach, who Sky wants them to go out and look into, probably is not who they will look into. So when I bring up this name, it's not because I want it. I damn sure don't. I just look at the way the Joneses operate. So my hot take is more of a question to you if this is a hot take. Kahuna World asks, who is a head coach out there on a different team that could be fired if the Cowboys would look at to be their next head coach? Bears head coach Matt Eberflus. Yeah. Could Bears head coach Matt Eberflus be a legitimate candidate for the Cowboys? I say yes. Not that Sky wants him. The Joneses. Here's why. They like candidates that have previous coaching experience. Check. Matt Eberflus has that. They would also like to know hey, do you have any relationship with us? Oh, Matt Eberflus coached in Dallas for 7 seasons on the defensive side of the ball. And the defensive side of the ball is key here. Jerry has his pattern of coaches. And don't get it twisted. Jerry's picking the coach. Jerry's picking this isn't Will McClay. This isn't John Parks in the analytics department. This isn't Stephen Jones. This is Jerry Jones. He has a pattern. The previous 2 head coaches, or the last 2, I should say, offensive guys. McCarthy, Jason Garrett. Previous to that, Wade Phillips, Bill Parcells. Defensive guys. 2 defense, 2 offense. Are we going back to defense? Would not shock me. Would not shock me. So again, Dave's hot chicken hot take here. Is Matt Eberflus a legitimate candidate. Hot take or not take, brought to you by Dave's Hot Chicken. If you love America's team, you will love America's chicken with juicy hot chicken in all levels of heat, from mild to Reaper, and of course their bomb sides that include their crinkle cut fries and mac and cheese. It's your go-to spot for hot chicken. If you're in the McKinney, Plano, and Waco area, stop by today. If you need to get lunch, they got you covered. Hey, or maybe you need to pick up some dinner later on. Dave's Hot Chicken got you down. I don't want him. I don't want him. But our guy Kahuna World said, hey, who are some teams that could be moving on from their head coach that could be a leading guy for the Cowboys? Matt Eberflus just checks all the boxes. Checks them all. Kyle Flood from Texas. Is that a first-year guy? Get rid of it. If we want to talk about a first-year head coach that might get a shot, I think it'd. I know we want to hear this, but I see the name pop up a lot. Kellen Moore. I am no. No. Kellen need to go get some experience in college, man. He needs to learn how to lead men. This is a different ball game. He's still wet behind the ears as a coach in general. He just started coaching in 2019, I believe. He's still extremely wet behind the ears. Kevin Stefanski. Do you think they'd fire him? That'd be messed up, man. I think Kevin Stefanski will be getting a raw deal. He didn't sign Deshaun Watson to that contract. He didn't do that. I like Kevin Stefanski. If they fire him, yeah, I'd be on board with that. My bad, AG. I'm not trying to give you an ulcer. I'm just, come on now, y'all. Do y'all really think we're going to go out and get one of these young guys, these modern thought guys that can't really be controlled because they got more courage to do what they want to do? Because look, I'm young. If you don't like it, cool. Somebody else, you know? Or you think they're going to go with a guy that's okay with the owner being the president, being the general manager, and his son being the real general manager, and then Will McClay being the guy. Like, do you think, nah, man. They're not going to go with the younger guy. They're going to go with the guy that's probably going to be like, yes, sir. Taco? Cool. All right, bet. KZ? Brent? Cool, no problem. No, free agency's off? I bet, cool. Managers trade. Oh, trades, we don't do that here. We might be able to flip. Flip? Tell me I'm lying, man. Willie T, you think Steven wants Lincoln Riley? Oh, please shoot me the link where that's at. That'll be very interesting to read up on if he wants Lincoln Riley. That would be a first. But no, I would love to read up on that if you heard he wants Lincoln Riley. That's why Kellen Moore fits. Kellen Moore only fits to me because he's he was previously here and he's a Jones guy. Everything else doesn't fit. Younger guy doing kind of more, even not as modern, but he's doing modern things and he has no previous head coaching experience. But the thing that he has is I know the Joneses. And they've shown in the past they can control them. I think it was Steven who came out and said, yeah, we probably are not telling, but holding him back with XYZ. TC915 is going to be Bill. That is the one outlier of previous head coach that would be extremely interesting to me. Because now it's going to be a fight. Does Bill pull off what I've been asking for a lot of these guys to pull off, which is I'll sit down in this interview and I'll say yes. But once I get that job, I'm doing things my way. Here's where the struggle would come, though. Does Bill say, I want control or I want to hire my own guy to help build this roster? Well, that's out of the equation. So does Bill go in there and say, oh, yeah, sure, you can do it. And then Bill picks a guy? That can't happen, right? So Bill's not going to call the offense. Bill's not, I mean, he might call the defense, but he usually hires Matt Patricia. That will be interesting because he's a culture changer type of guy, right? Because we could bring in, but if they don't let him change the culture, then it doesn't matter. You got a link to that? Willie T, I would love to read up on that, man. 100%. He said Steven wanted Lincoln over McCarthy. Please drop the link if you can find it. I'll Google it and look up. I would love to read into that. I never was aware of that. But he said, but Jerry vetoed it. Well, Willie T, then it doesn't matter then. If Jerry vetoed it, I thought Jerry might have been a part of this. That's why I said at the top of this ain't a Will McClay decision. This ain't a Stephen Jones decision. This is a Jerry Jones decision. So if Stephen wants Lincoln, then that doesn't even matter. So it's Jerry. Jerry's going to pick the coach. Now, Lincoln has head coaching experience in college. He would be harking all the way back to, was Chan Gailey a head coach in college before he got the Cowboys gig? But it'd be Jimmy Johnson, Barry Switzer type situation, like college coach straight to head coach in the NFL. He hasn't done that in quite some time. So there you have it, Cowboys. Appreciate y'all for all the questions. Shouts out to AA Ron, Kahuna. Is it? What's your name? Let me make sure I get him right. Kahuna World. Smoke him if you got him. Damien over on Twitter and AA Ron. Appreciate y'all for the questions. Let me get to some super chats real quick. If I missed any. Nope. We good to go. We're good to go. Thanks said Cowboys doomed for the next 5 years. Well. You want to tell them toxic? Just gotta find a way to overcome it. Charlie G, what makes you think Jerry's gonna move on from Mike? Because I don't think so. Charlie G, shouts out to you, but there's no way. Like, you ain't been under a rock, right, Charlie G? If he wasn't going to move on from Mike McCarthy, he would have extended Mike McCarthy. And the only way he wasn't going to move on from Mike McCarthy after not extending Mike McCarthy is if Mike McCarthy advanced to the Super Bowl or at the very least the NFC Championship game. Does anybody believe that's happening this year? Not sure why you think he wouldn't. If he moved on from his stepchild in Jason Garrett after an 8-8 season, why wouldn't he move on from Mike McCarthy, which is looking like a worse than 8-8 season? Potentially, we'll see. Yeah, I definitely think he's moving on. Are there people that believe he's going to bring back Mike? Is this Soto? You believe that as well? This is interesting. Y'all think that Mike's coming back? Brother, he's doomed. You hear it in the pressers. Mike McCarthy know this is it. If anybody has hit to just get through the year, it's Mike McCarthy. It's Mike McCarthy, bro. If anybody is up there day in and day out like, man, we just got to get through Wednesday, Thursday. We just got to get through Friday, Sunday. It's Mike McCarthy. Aaron believes. Aaron, you think Mike is getting extended? Tell me why. Before I get out of here, I have to know. I get it. We got a large fan base. All types of opinions. But y'all know me. I love to know the whys behind some of the things that I hear. Why? How? You too mad, Mark? Oh my God. Y'all are crazy. Please, somebody give me. I just want to know. Give me a reason, and maybe there's something I'm missing here. Maybe there's something I'm missing here. Troy, there may be something to the boys retaining McCarthy. 3 12-5 seasons, healthy and re-weaponized. Jerry may see it differently. Oh, Lord Jesus. Sky because of Jerry Jones? That ain't good enough reason. Jerry Jones fired Jason Garrett. You know what I'm saying? Jerry Jones fired coaches before. When they gonna get rid? Solid Duck thing. He coming back to. Oh my God, we're Stockholm syndrome, bro. This is bad. We are in such a bad place. We got fans out here believing Mike McCarthy's coming back now. Holy hell! Let me get up out of here. They trolling. I hope they trolling, bro, because I don't know what the hell would make you think that man is returning to this team. If you enjoyed today's show, please hit the like button, man. We had Patrick No C Walker came through, gave us the rundown on the injury report, plus dropped some science on Dak Prescott and his legs, which was most of our conversation today. Run tell that or run tell Dak. Share this thing if you enjoyed it. Yeah, Mr. Ronnie. Oh, I don't know if this is the Mr. Ronnie, but Ronnie said, thanks for reading my comment. Got your attention, but Jerry loves the why. Pray we get a coach with scheme and concepts. Jerry likes the puppets. No problem, Mr. Ronnie. Charlie G is dying on this hill. He said, I'm telling y'all, Mike had 3 12-win seasons. He ain't getting a 12-win season this year. Let me say this. I'll put a pin in it. I'll be fair. The season's not over. Things can change. He could 100% advance to the NFC Championship game or whatever, right? Maybe we get to the division playoffs again, and it's a hard-fought victory, and they bring him back. That's the only way I see it. If they miss the playoffs, let me ask you this before I go, because this is just really grinding my gears here. If they miss the playoffs this year and continue to play the way they've been playing, right? They go 7-10. Do y'all believe he's coming back then? Like how cemented in this are you that it doesn't matter what we do, they're bringing him back, or it matters how they finish? Mike let Jerry control. Well, he can go hire another coach to control. Hallelujah said, "Don't be fair." Hallelujah, I'm not going to do this to my viewers. I'm trying to be fair. I want to know, like, give me a number. Is there a number, or is it doesn't matter what the Cowboys do, we're going to bring him back even if we continue to suck because that he can control them? Oh, Lee, I'm always sick, man. Charlie G, I'm trying to think about it. I'm trying to think about it. You're not giving me a good enough. If the answer is because Jerry can control them, then I guess, man, I disagree. I think it's going to take more than I can just control this guy. He can control Garrett. He got rid of Garrett. And he loved Garrett more than he loved Mike McCarthy. Give me a number. If all the people that believe Mike is coming back, if they go 7-10, 8-9, you believe he's still coming back? Boy, we need to win. We need to get this dub this week. Cowboys, Falcons, we need to get this dub. We need to turn the tide so that these conversations can be a lot more fun to have, boy, because we are reaching the dark ages. We got a 30-year-old offense, a 60-year-old head coach who's given up pretty much. He's just ready to go. And fans thinking that man coming back. I'm pressing this button, man. Cowboys are going to run my blood pressure up. Hey, it's Friday. Make sure y'all enjoy y'all weekend. Be safe out there. What we got going on Sunday? 12 o'clock game Sunday. We will not be at Canvas Sports and Social. No. It's supposed to rain down there in Dallas. So we won't be on the patio, but we still will be giving you all the game day live. You still can head down to Canvas, absolutely. And if you can't make it down there with the good vibes, it's all good. Hit up Specs. They'll deliver some of those vibes. It's your one-stop shop, the best destination for unbeatable selection of wine, beer, liquor, and finer foods. If you don't want to head out to, say, a watch party on the go, you can have the watch party at your crib. They can deliver all of that to you, or you can pick it up curbside. That's Specs. Cheers to you. Cheers to savings. Y'all about to make me go to Specs. Let me tell you something right now. If we bring back Mike McCarthy, I will be Specs #1 customer. I'll get out of here now.
Push the goddamn button.
T-Dub in the A. Hey, represent, man. I say this whether you're here in Dallas, whether you're going on road games. Be loud, be proud. Tough to be proud, I'll tell you that much. But do it anyway, man. Don't let the Joneses stop you from being the diehard fan that you are. Noon game. You know how we do there. We out here. Love y'all. Peace. Hey, man, turn up, Professor O. Florida, Georgia sound a lot better to be at.